What if you have a project and one day your clients decide that it has to be multi-language, international? How much work is it to transform a single language project to multi-language? In this video, I will show you a specific case, practical example of a simple project like this one, a blog, and we will transform it into multi-language. So simple blog, list of articles with dummy data, and there is an article and there are comments, and there is a login mechanism where admin could log in and add articles and manage comments, something like that. So how to translate all of it if you haven't done any work for translations at all? And I asked my teammate Marius to simulate that situation, and there is a list of commits, how much work it actually requires. So first thing, let's try to change language. So I will go through the commits, we'll comment them, and we will see the results. So first thing is to add in the top right corner ability to change the language, like this. So you have English language and there is another language. In our case it will be Lithuanian because we are from Lithuania, so I didn't want to specifically load Google Translate for any of that. So you click Lithuanian and then you have get parameter, which goes into your session and then is active for any other requests. So commit is pretty simple, a drop down of choosing the language, which come from the config. So config app.php has this, and then whenever there's a get parameter present, there is a middleware called setLocale, which is active on all the URLs. So if there is a request to change language, we basically put setLocale into whatever language is passed, either from URL or from the session or from the config. So that is step one. Step 2 is to translate text that come from Laravel specifically, like login. If we go to login blade, which is default for authentication, we have these. So login, email address, password, everything comes with underscore function, which means they are prepared to be translated if you translate them in JSON file. In the description, I will link to the article, which explains it in a deeper way how that thing works. But essentially you have a JSON file with a language, so you have LT JSON or EN JSON, and you translate all of those like login to your language. And good thing is there is a repository for all languages or most of the world's languages. So this one called Laravel Lang. If we go to source, you will see the list of languages, and for any language, let's take our Lithuanian for example. There are PHP files and also separate folder for JSON files. So we can navigate to LT JSON, and this is exactly what we copied into our repository. So if we refresh page now and go to our Lithuanian language, you can see that this one is translated. And there are more things translated. Of course, you don't understand Lithuanian, but that's not the point. It is not in English. And if you go back, this is how it starts to work together. We have change language, which goes into system locale, and then it loads the translation from JSON and from the files like these. So auth, pagination, passwords, and validation, and these again come from default Laravel authentication, Laravel auth. So at this point, we haven't added any of our own custom translations. So that was step number 2. Step number 3 is non-translated texts. All over your page, wherever they are, they have to be prepared for translations, like this. So next, commit by Marius, as you can see, 17 changed files. So all over controllers and everywhere you have just messages or error messages or whatever text. You have to transform them to underscore. So file by file, including emails, by the way. And then you fill it in your JSON or wherever it is needed. So that's probably the hardest part, is to find all the texts in all of your project in any files, which can be blade files, controllers, error messages, notification emails, and anything else basically. And you cannot find just by typing somewhere in PHP Storm or in your IDE editor. Look for untranslated texts. So my message and my advice to you overall is, if there is at least slight chance of project going international, prepare for that up front. So all the text should be written not like this, but like this from the very beginning. And then it will be much easier to find them. And these are more readable than PHP files. These are human readables, which makes it easier for non-tech people to translate those. So you can just pass those. There are no comments, and someone totally non-technical can add that as a JSON. So as you can see, we have a comment form, and if we translate the language, now these are all translated, and these are custom texts created by ourselves. Now, that was first big step, is to translate all the texts. But what about database translations? What if blog needs to be international? A list of articles, and some of the articles should be English, some of them should be Lithuanian, or both. So how to translate basically eloquent models into multi-language structure. And we have a separate article on that. I will link that in the description on Quick Admin Panel blog, how to add multi-language capability to your models. But this is the main commit. And by the way, it will be published, the whole repository will be public, and you can check that out yourselves. But basically there's a package. Let me find composer.json here somewhere. Yep, got it. So Astroatomic Laravel translatable, which previously belonged to other owner, DimSav. So you can probably remember that if you work with Laravel previously by DimSav Laravel translatable, functionality didn't change, just the owner changed. So you install that package, and then it allows you to implement a contract, use translatable trait, create a model for translation, in our case article, add fillables, and then in controller you can create your multi-language model just by passing EN data and LT data, just like that, and then article create. Same with article update, as you can see, and there are a few more things to add to validation, some configuration options, some migration, so it's not a 5-minute job. Again, feel free to check that repository for later, but this is essentially the result. When using that package, you will be able to call the translation like this one, so same old fields, but just calling translate, or fall back to the original English texts. So that's how you deal with multi-language models. Final step in this video is to transform those models, those articles, into proper multi-language on the front end. So as you can see, we have URL/en, and if we go to homepage, it is automatically redirected to en, and it shows only the articles that are translated in English. If we change to Lithuanian, we have /lt, and we have Lithuanian articles, or in fact this one is both English and Lithuanian. So this is English and Lithuanian article example. And if we click the article, there's also /en, and if we go to /lt, the same article is translated into Lithuanian. So there is a possibility for FAQ articles or blog articles to be written in both languages. Now, how to achieve that? First thing is in routes web PHP, we redirect the homepage to the homepage of actual locale. So we added route group prefixed by locale, with the rule that locale should be only 2 letters, and then inside of it we can do whatever we want. So there's a homepage for English, and there's an article page for English as well, or Lithuanian, depending on the locale. And that locale is, by the way, passed to all the controllers automatically. So if we go to home controller now, you will see this. So article locale and ID, and we load articles translated in the language. For single article it doesn't change because inside of that model we will have both translated, thanks to the package discussed previously. Also, a few changes needed in that set locale we discussed previously. Then everywhere you have the routes or links to that URLs that should be changed as well. In our case it was notification for new comment. So links to the articles change like this, and basically that's it. In the views, nothing really changed. So if you call article title, it will get the title from the database table which is related to that particular language. So in the database it looks like this: article translations database table, locale, and then the texts. And articles themselves have only ID, so texts, title and full text are not even saved in the main table anymore. They are saved in article translations. So there we go. This amount of work is needed to translate a simple, very simple project in Laravel. So imagine how much work it is to transform bigger project. So my overall final message to you is to ask the client whether project is planned to be multi-language anytime soon, and make preparations to avoid double or triple work down the road. And it's pretty easy. Just as I said, simply use underscores wherever we have the text, and that's already a big step forward. In the description I will put more links about translations and multi-language in general in Laravel. And also there is one tool that I recommend to translate some words. There is admin panel that can be used by non-tech people, and this is not actually quick admin panel, not our, but by Joe Dixon. There is an admin panel, and here there is a video demo of how to use it and why it is pretty awesome. Finally, I remind you to subscribe to the channel for more Laravel videos like this one, and support our quickadminpanel.com, because when you're supporting that financially, I have more free time to shoot free videos like this one. See you guys in other videos.